welcome back to Car Salvage 101. And yes, this isn't a review of a Bizzle wetback. This is the grey 2014 Colour Therapy. It's been a few weeks since I showed you around the car, and yeah, we're going to be showing you quite a bit of content for today, but getting started with cleaning the seats, which, to be fair, with that pattern and the fact that they're grey, actually didn't look to be that dirty, so it may have got away, certainly with the front seat. However, the passenger seat was again filled with what appeared to be some form of water stains, as you can see. Needed to do the door cards as well, because they're always going to get dirty with people leaning on them, probably with fake tan or something like that. But yeah, so you can see from the initial use of the wetback that was the concoction that we got out of it. Yeah, which looks particularly nice. And then it's just a case of allowing it to dry, where this was done, well, this was done a month and a half ago, something like that. So yeah, but anyway, okay, so I think, if I'm being honest, the biggest job is going to be this rear quarter, which is a bit annoying. Just did not see it on the pictures at all. If it wasn't for this, I think it would be a pretty quick turnaround. But anyway, we have to deal with it. So, looking at it closely, from this angle, as you can probably see, it's very similar to the mint one. It's had some sort of shunt here, and it's pushed this in. And then we've got, then once it's also been pushed in, we've then got it sort of creased in here. And then here, I don't know again if you can quite see it, we've got, it's dented here. So I'm thinking, try and pull this out with a hammer and just get that in line. Hopefully that will just pull out, because this is relatively soft. Here, this is really difficult, and I'm going to have to get something behind it and start pulling it out. Then I have a feeling this is going to be a filling job, because I don't think I'm going to get that line completely straight. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have camera equipment to record this. Well, I do, as in what I'm using now, but what I mean is I don't have something for the stand. So I'm going to go and try it, and then I'll get back to you with this bit. But this is probably going to take a number of days to effectively sort out. Hopefully this won't. This will hopefully go in one, but it's this that bothers me slightly. And then I'm not even going to, yeah, don't even get me started on that scratch. Right, let's start. Well, never say never. Using the old hot glue, or whatever you want to call it, not hot glue, I can't remember what you call it now. Oh, anyway, using this stuff and also trapping your hand in the puller, I'm actually making a bit of a headway on that one. I'm quite surprised how much with force I'm actually pulling that out. So I'm going to keep going on that and see how much we can do. But you can see I've only really got a small amount to do. So if I just keep pulling, we'll oh god, this stuff's sticky. We'll keep going, see what we can do, and I might be able to do this without the need for filling, which is going to be a big plus point for me. Right, I think we're about an hour in. I've made improvements on here, but still not. I can't get that crease back in there. I was hoping to just basically have it there and then just pull it and it just pops back into place. I'm going to try and do that again at a later date. In the meantime, this is what I've been working on, and you can probably see we have made massive steps on this one. It's still not quite going how I want it to go. This part is really stubborn here. Well, I've got the tab at the moment. This sort of back here was going okay, and then this is just being really stubborn, so gonna have to work harder on that. Hopefully it will go at some point, but I don't know if we will need to fill it in the end, because I don't know if I'm going to get 100% on this. It's just not going as quick or as much as I thought. Don't know if you can quite see that. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. I need to get all this glue off my hands. It's all over the place. So yeah, we'll come back. I think got a couple of night shifts to do now, so probably not going to be back until the rest of the week. Hopefully the weather's still going to be good and we can still keep pulling, and then I think I'll then make a decision on what I'm going to do in regards to filling it. Okay, right, so we are now another day in, and I've done as much as I can in regards to the pulling of this panel, and as you can see, I've now resorted to the last thing, which is to fill it. So this here, which was a dent here, it just wasn't, probably because it may have been on the crease, but it just wasn't quite getting the pop back into place, probably because of the crease there. So I've now had to fill that. I've just got one more, I think, to do, because there's ever so slight little tiny holes in that. So I need to go over that with some glazing putty. And then this one here, again, going to need some glazing putty. That pretty much got to about here, just couldn't pull this last bit out. And then I was like, oh, do I just keep going and putting it and see what I can do? But then realised, because there was a crease sort of going about here, I thought, well, I'm going to have to fill it anyway, so might as well just fill that last bit and then the crease there. So we have pretty much got that the line pretty much there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really work on this, because the green one, the problem we got, or what I'm experiencing, bearing in mind that I'm not expert in this at all, is you sort of do this, you sand it, it looks great, feels smooth, and then you paint it, again it looks alright, and then when you finally gloss it or primer it, it then starts to look where you've missed pieces or you've not filled it correctly, and then you're like, how did I miss that? Because the obviously the shine of the paint really brings out any bumps or creases that you've missed. So really going to work hard on to make sure that this is all good. So that is today. Been working on that. Also been working on the bumper for the BMW, but that's another video for another time. So I'm going to leave that to just do its thing overnight, and then I'll come back tomorrow, and hopefully I can start just topping that off and then starting to paint it, and hopefully the colour match is going to be okay. Unfortunately, where I was hoping we kind of would stick to the line, that's not going to be the case. But yeah, so but anyway, back with you tomorrow. Right, I think I've got it best as I'm going to get it with the filler. So I've just washed it down, then I'm going to tack it down and then apply the primer. Yeah, and just fingers crossed it's going to come out all right. So, do you know what? I can't actually remember, but I started this a good couple of weeks ago, and I can only really do it when I'm on rest days because I can spend the day doing it. And managed to pull out with cold glue, managed to pull out most of it. However, the problem was that not all of it came out, and so I was going to fill it, which I started to do. However, the more I looked at it, the more I realised that the cold glue and pulling it out hadn't recreated the shape, that, or basically it didn't pull back into exactly how I wanted. So had to put more filler in. Now, where the issues become is that basically I thought I did a reasonably good job, filled it, sanded it down and applied the primer, and then sort of looked at it with the primer on and went, you know what, it's really not a good job at all, not a good job. So as I say, we're 2 weeks on now and I've redone it all again, back to filling it, and it looks a bit of a mess if I'm being honest, but it's slowly getting there, but it's just taking forever, and this is where pretty much the last part of the job is. So I haven't really finished it, but I've just applied some glazing to try and fill in some of the bumps and everything. But the problem is, and whether or not, you know, I'm gonna be honest, is that this here is almost like a 90 degree line in the body panel that goes a bit like this on the bumper here, and then because of it sort of took a bit of a hit here, I can't get a nice acute angle running through there. So I've managed to at least get it like vertical, but I can't get that. But to be honest, I'm not going to be able to do it, and unless I send this to the body shop, and this already owes me quite a bit of money anyway, so I'm really not going to bother, if I'm being honest. So I'm just going to sand this back again, and we're going to try again and get this into a, as long as it's uniform shape and it's nice and smooth, that's all I'm worried about. And then we will start the paint job and everything that goes with it. But yeah, I'm just taking so long, this part, and I rear quarter panels, especially around that, has never ever it's never been 100%, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so that's where we're at, and I'll just continue getting on with sanding this back. So paints for you come up trumps again with 735A. Not going to pronounce that, my Italian is not so good. And what we planned, or what we did do, was the under bumper here, which was all scratched So I've literally just put 3 coats on of that, and that has pretty much exactly matched the original paint colour. Just got to put some lacquer on, but otherwise, I mean, it's down the bottom anyway, so, but yeah, really happy with that one. Nice quick job there. As I say, I'll just whack some lacquer and then yeah, on to the next. Right, bottom of the bumper is done. Fairly easy job, that one. Now we've started on the primer to get that back. I don't think this is going to be 100%, if I'm being brutally honest, but we'll just give it a go. But yeah, I haven't been able to pull it exactly into shape, but the primer's on, and then give that a few layers, and then we'll try on the paint. Okay, we're going to work on the body again, and as you can see from this here is the scratch, and there was a lighter scratch up here, and we've just started to sandpaper it, or wet sand it, as you can see here. So I'm going to work on that, see how that goes. I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd manage to get it out, but I have. Wet sanding 1200, it's all gone. Can't see it. I think there's a little tiny mark just here, which is the really deep part, but otherwise the whole scratch is gone. I'm really tough with that. And then around this other side, they've taken a minor whack here. Again, managed to get rid of that. There was a scratch running up here. Again, got rid of that. And then on this wing, it was quite scratched up. Not too bad, but again, 1200 wet sand, and then just polish the crap out of it with your DA polisher, and then it brings it back. I know I've got a tiny bit more work to do up here, but otherwise, yeah. And then you can see where I've wet sanded it here, and then I need to polish that up in a minute, get that back to looking like the rest of the car, well, the rest of the bonnet actually. It's that type of paint, it shows up quite a bit. And then with this one we have done, was it 1500, and then 2500 to get that looking as near as good to that one. And then I've got to do that as well, because that's an old DRL. But otherwise, yeah, it's not looking too good. And then we just got to work our way on this one, because this was dented. That's sort of been pulled out and filled a bit, so we need to do a bit of a paint job on that. But yeah, otherwise the actual getting rid of the scratches and everything, it's coming on quite nicely. It's just that type of paint, unfortunately, where it's just going to show absolutely every mark, every scratch, everything like that. So yeah, but until it gives a proper clean, then I can see if I've missed any small scratches that need working on. But at the moment, not doing too bad. Okay, so we're back working on the bodywork. Everything, I say everything's in place. The bumper is on, but behind here is a gap in the bumper between the wing and the bumper that I'm not particularly happy with, but come to that later. Managed to get rid of the scratches that were running down here, again wet sanding and then using the polisher got that pretty much happy with. And then here, I can't remember if I've shown it on the initial walk around, but this has just gotta make sure I get this word right, sustained a dent. So where this accident has occurred on this left hand side, the bonnet has sustained sort of a little crease, but done some filler work on it and got it back. I've now resprayed it and I've applied the first layer of lacquer to try and blend in the paint. Well, say lacquer's not blending in the paint, but it's had 3 coats of paint, and then I've applied the first layer of lacquer. So just gonna leave that to dry, and then we'll just continue lacquering that up, and then we are close to being done. This is where the bonnet, the tip of the bonnet here, has been hitting this, so I've applied some primer to that, and then I'll give that a go as well. It's just on a really awkward part, but don't worry, I'm not going to be keeping that on when I paint it, otherwise we're just going to get this lovely mark here. I'll take that off and try and blend that into the paper, the body as well. And then down there is going to be a whole new section of the video which I'll discuss at length about that. So the wing's on, it's bolted in place, the bumper is on, bolted, but might have to be taking that off. The passenger side headlight bulb was not working, to replace that, and then the DRL and the replacement DRL and replacement headlight which I got were yellowed, so sanded those back and polished them up, and now they look pretty much brand new. So yeah, we are pretty much nearly there on this part of the bodywork. It's the bodywork actually that takes the longest, because you just want to get it absolutely right, but then I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and if it's not right I just end up doing it all again. So we've moved on, good couple of weeks now, got over my cold where I didn't really want to be outside and do loads of work. We are now beginning of July. As you can see now, we have painted and lacquered that rear quarter panel. It's not 100%, bear in mind I haven't had really any training on filling or anything. I've done my very best to get that in as best shape as possible, but it's ever so slightly lost the sort of, we'll call it rigid outline, which was kind of lost anyway with the knock anyway, but I just can't get it back. If I got into a body shop they probably would have done, but that is the result using the Paints For You paint, which is a perfect match, an absolute perfect match if I'm being honest with you. For this colour, because it's not metallic, it's just to let you know, it's 735. So that is done. I've also 1500 grit that and polished it up to a reasonably decent standard, I think. So yeah, so painting is all done on this car. We are just in the final stages of, as you can see, I've just 1500 lacquered this. Fortunately that's getting rather hot, so polishing that up might not happen just yet. I need to allow the bodywork to just calm down a bit for heat, but just going to do that, and then that's the other painted area. And then there was where someone had almost used some sort of nail varnish or some cheap paint repair kit. I've now just touched that back up, and I'm in the process of giving that a couple of lacquers and coats of lacquer, and then we are done on this, completely done. The hubcaps are going on last, not really bothered by those at the moment, they can go on last. The MOT is Monday morning. That gives us a whole new MOT, and then I think we're good to go to sell this. I don't think there's anything else that I need to do that I can remember. Need to just test that aircon. Need to test the aircon out because of the fact that that pipe is ever so slightly dented where it's been pushed in, and then give it a shot and give it a drive and see how we go, really. So that is your therapy. So it's not moved for about a month now. So this is going to bring the end of today's video. Thank you all for watching. I will do another follow-up video to let you know about the MOT, and hopefully it will be obviously all finally done and all good to go. So yeah, it's much appreciated everyone who continues to subscribe to the channel. We're slowly getting there, not far off 1,000 now, and yeah, appreciate all your comments. It's a good number of you who are regular comments to the channel, so yeah, it's nice to have a little community there. But yeah, until next time, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.